Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Discover a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey y'all, I'm JJ.
Hey guys, it's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests to share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Hello.
Hello. Greetings.
Greetings, Earthlings.
Welcome to a brand new episode of Don't Blame Me, which is a call-in and write-in advice show starring two people who really put their pussies out there to give the wettest advice that you've ever heard.
That was brand new. And you know what? I love it. I stand by it. I open these legs for it. I unclench and clench for it. I kegel for it. That's what we do. That's what we're here for. And there are so many ways you can participate in this. You could just listen, or you could call in if you need some advice, or you could email us. You could send us a DM, and you could also email us a voice memo. But yeah, you have to be 18 or over, have your parents' permission for all of the above. If you want to send us a voicemail, 310-694-0976. And if you want to send us an email, meganpodcast@gmail.com. You can also email a voice memo there. And we will also link our Instagram. It's
Meghan and Melisa.
It's just that.
Yeah.
We've changed it so many times. It is just Meghan and Melisa. We finally got what we wanted, and it seems too good to be true, so I constantly forget.
But
So-
it's been like that for, I
I
want to
know.
say, at least 2 years.
Well, last 2 years have been fuzzy. So if you want to do any of those things for the voice memo and voicemail, you have to keep it under 3 minutes. We recommend that you write everything down, read it out loud, practice it a few times. And that is how we can get like the best and most clear information, because you will be planning it out. And we do ask that you let us know your age. You could let us know your pronouns if you would like to, but we need like the facts. So we break it down like an essay, like your thesis, and then what's your evidence backing that up. Give us a couple examples about a relationship. How long have you been together? About some bitch that you hate. Give us the top 3 reasons why you hate them, why you've got beef with them. And you can even just say, she's just that bitch eating crackers, and I don't know, I hate her for no reason. That's also a valid. We'll understand you. And yeah, if you are writing it, keep it under 300 words. And we also have a video version you can watch on Patreon. You can also listen ad-free on Patreon. And you can also support the show by joining our live streams that we're even going to record one after we do today's episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great time. You can meet new people literally from all over the world. We recommend it. I mean, recommend it to like anyone. There's always someone new joining pretty much like every single time we do one. So you are very, very, very unlikely going to be like the only new person there. And everybody's like so welcoming and nice and fun and friendly. You can also watch a couple to get a sense of the vibe, but it's very chill, laid back. We hang out, we talk. It's a very comfortable, easy vibe. And join us. Join us. You can also see our reactions to some of the calls or the write-ins. And we're very expressive. We emote. Big emoters up in here. Love it. So, anything else?
Nah, that's it.
Okay.
We're going to kick this one off with an update.
Hello, I'm the toxic workplace call, and I had to re-record this because I was all over the place in the last one. But so here's some added info. So I kept it big because I was worried about being too identifiable. So I'm going to clear some things up. I'm a vet's assistant. So I started off as a kennel attendant, and then they trained me now as a vet's assistant. So that's what I've been doing. So the doctor I work for does not own the clinic, and he was not the one who hired me. So we both answer to the same boss. I work at one of two clinics, and the vet who owns the practices works at our sister hospital, which is why I don't see that guy and I can't talk to him about it because he's 40 minutes away every day. We rarely see him. So the reason I've tolerated this for so long is because I plan on going into veterinary medicine. So I worry about severing the ties with the place because I've been there for over a year now, and I could be leaving a potential other recommendation on the line when I apply to vet school. So that's why I've tolerated this bullshit for so long. And I feel like I've wasted my time. And my second job is an animal shelter that's right down the street, 2 minutes away. And that's why it's been so convenient. So I have skills that are, I could be hired somewhere else, but I just wouldn't have this ease of access. So I'm the youngest vet assistant they have there. And the majority of the people I work with are 15 years older than me and have been dealing with this too. So I'm working on contacting ex-employees now and reaching out so I can proceed with whistleblowing. And I am in what's the phrase you use? A single consent state. So as long as I agree to record it and I'm recording it, it doesn't matter. So I plan on compiling some information, doing something about that. But yeah, a lot of the times when I was looking up for filing complaints, it's about pet owners filing complaints for malpractice with the doctor, not necessarily the vet's assistant or the people who have to work for said doctor. But thank you so much for your advice. It was very helpful and insightful. And I also think consider the sexual aspects, so I'm scared. Okay, I love you guys. Thank you.
I hate how they make it so hard for pretty much every job to know how to report bad things that are going on or how to advocate for yourself and all of that. And you basically have to wait until someone else who is a peer in your space has done it or has gone through it to let you know, it's that pisses me off.
Yeah, but there should be some type of labor thing in your state that you can report or even just ask questions to. 100% there is.
And especially when you're saying that the one that you are finding it's mostly for pet owners to for malpractice, you can literally call them and be hey, I work for someone who is not good and I want to report them. This is the only way I found reporting. Can you point me to the direction of how to report the other way? Because yeah, sometimes they don't make it crystal clear of where that is or how that is. And I know when I had a horrible psychiatrist, I didn't even know how to report him until I had a therapist years later who was you should report him and here's what you do, how you do that. And I was oh, never knew that this was even a possibility at that point until then. So asking around, I think, is a very, very good call. And I'm glad you're in a single consent state, but also to follow up with slightly more advice, the person who owns the practice who is at the hospital 40 minutes away, you can still talk to them and reach out to them even though they're not there. But I think if you're compiling evidence to show them, I would make sure you file a formal complaint and report him first. I would get it all in writing. So then if they try and retaliate, you have that in writing as well.
Right.
But yeah, you don't have to deal with this. And they make it hard and they make it seem like there's no way this is going to work in a year. You have such a good gig going on and all of that kind of stuff. But promise you they're in the wrong. You're not. And protect your ass in the sense of a paper trail. You're not going to look back on this and be oh, I wish I had stayed silent and done nothing. Because it will, I think it's what you said initially that if you endure, you can only endure this for so long before it ruins it for you, that you're never even going to get to the place that you want to get to because this will be so life and soul sucking.
Right. That just happened to someone I know.
Oof.
Where they were enduring for a while and then their boss came in and was going off on them and then they just were like, thought about it for a second, and then like half an hour later they quit and then walked up. And then guess what? HR tried to contact them, and I said, don't talk to HR because they're there to protect the company.
Mm-hmm. Tale as old as time when men have jobs.
Yep.
Send them to war. We are going to take a quick break, and then we will get into the calls and write-ins.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone, so we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural then and now.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
And we are back, and we first have a write-in. Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I am writing in 21, she, her, Scorpio, as I've recently broken up with my girlfriend of 4 months, 22, she, her, Cancer. We broke up due to any time that there was a form of conflict or disagreement in our relationship, I'd break down crying or have a panic attack. My ex would get incredibly frustrated when she was expressing her anger or upset about something I did, that I would break down crying and would need to be comforted. She said my panic attacks over the smallest conflicts were unnecessary and always escalated the situation out of proportion. I tried explaining to her that there were certain triggers that caused the panic attack, such as silent treatment, lack of reassurance, and raised voices. Ultimately, she claimed she couldn't create a safe space for me and my emotions and broke up with me. My question is, how do I cope without being in a relationship? Oh, I've discovered since I was 18 years old, I've been a serial monogamist and have only been out of a relationship for a maximum of 6 months. Within those breaks between relationships, I'm also spending so much time hooking up and obsessing over exes. I'm just about to graduate university and take on a teacher training course while moving back with my parents to save money. Thus, Tinder dates and hookups are not going to be possible for the foreseeable future while I'm back home and taking on this new qualification. I want to try and love myself and not base my self-worth on the love of another, but I'm currently finding it so difficult and lonely. Any help would be much appreciated, and I love the podcast. I mean, truthfully, I think I knew a lot of people who were serial relationship kind of people, it is hard and lonely because this is the only time you've ever been out of it for longer than 6 months. But I think of it like the same way you put work into a relationship and like you communicate and you do all of that. I think you need to do that while being single. Like it's not just you ignore the fact that you're like, oh, I'm going to ignore people I'm attracted to. I'm going to ignore everything like that. I'm just going to bury it away. And that makes it like there's like illicit temptation kind of a thing. Like, you know, it's a lot of self-worth work. It's a lot of like, you know, therapy, like understanding that and who you are. And at least for me, I didn't really like put any work into it when I took like a big break from dating. I took like I think it was a full year that I took away, but like didn't go on dates, didn't talk to people, nothing. And the first like 6 months, I just like threw myself into work. And then maybe it was only like the last like 4 or 5 months of it was when I started to like have a crush on someone enough that I was like, I actually haven't done any of the work that I said I was going to do. So like, I need to figure this shit out because like, I actually like this person. And like, I've been separated enough from this like habit of mine that I know that I don't want to do this same shit again with this person. Like, why would I would have wasted all of this time and not learned anything. And I really like spent those last couple months being like, okay, I have to figure my shit out before I engage with this. And so that's not to say like put it off or whatever, but I think you have to get to a point where you are so comfortable being single that you meet someone, or you get to the point where you're comfortable enough with yourself that you want to go date someone afterwards. It's just kind of like, I've never done like a religious fasting or anything like that, but it's like, you kind of just have to get over that certain point where you then start getting to kind of cruise control. It's breaking a habit. It's difficult, but to me, I would quite literally prescribe a full year of no flirting, no hooking up, no dating, none of it. And, you know, working on your anxiety and like therapy and all of that kind of stuff, because I think a very clear and fine boundary is like raised voices. Like that's one that I have that I'm like, I think regardless of any trauma you have, for me, very traumatizing. But I think regardless of that, I don't think it's respectful. And I don't think it's a respectful way to communicate with someone when you're using raised voices and anger. So that's like a totally fine boundary. But if you're finding that like, even when someone is accommodating those things, you're still having a hard time communicating when you're at fault, which again, I've been there, then that's something that it's like, oh, I have to work on that solo. I can't work on that or work through that in a relationship.
Yeah, I think this time with your parents is like a blessing. Like you can't have people over to hook up. I think like Megan was saying, being alone for a year is good because you need to figure out like how to be alone, one, and then who you are. And I think those are two separate journeys for you because you don't know what it's like to be alone for longer than 6 months, but then also you're not comfortable with who you are in yourself. So just taking that time to like a point where you're just not thinking about anything, not thinking about like doing the work on yourself, just like having just time to exist in the world without anyone else and letting yourself enjoy that. And then when you're like comfortable with that, with like, I'm comfortable with just like being alone. Okay, now I need to get comfortable with who I am.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like for me, the most like the clear delineation of like the progress that I had made was prior to taking that year-long break. I was like, without a doubt, I want to get married and have kids. And then as I'm in like probably like the middle of this year-long dating break, I was like, I don't need to get married. Like and it was the point where it was like, if I find someone that I want to get married to, I want to be there. My whole thing was, I would love the idea of it'd be so cool to find someone that I like enough that I want to get married to them. But like, I don't know if that's even a fucking possibility. That's like the level of how detached I became from like my own self-worth based on how other people feel about me. That it went from, this is this thing that I want and whoever gets me there, great, to that person better, like if they show up and make me want that thing, like that's amazing. I would probably, no, I'm not going to do that. That's being able to be so comfortable being alone that like you can't even envision yourself like wanting to spend time with someone more than yourself, like for an extended period of time. It will happen. Like And that doesn't mean that you're not going to find someone you want to spend that time with, but like you're going to continually find the wrong people until you're at the level of like self-acceptance and enjoying your own company that you would be fine without it. That like someone actually has to earn the position, not like, oh, I'm seeking someone for this position. Someone's got to earn that, make them work for it. So this is also, if it makes you feel any better, this is like a canon event. Like this is, and specifically for people who've like dealt with, whether it's like anxiety or like trauma regarding like relationships and that kind of stuff. Like it is something that like, it's an unavoidable thing that like you got to get through. And so it's lonely, but I promise you, it's like you eventually get to the point where it's coasting. You're like riding a bike and you don't even have to pedal. Like it's just become second nature, and it just takes time, and it'll just click. And we've both done that. Like we've both taken breaks. And yeah, like you said, you have to some time that you're not even thinking about the self-work. It's just existing.
Mm-hmm.
Best of luck. You can do it, and you will do it.
We believe in you. All right, next one.
Hi, Megan and Melissa. I have loved the podcast and I've written in before, and your guys' advice is so amazing. So I thought I'd call in about this problem. I'm 22 and my pronouns are she, her. I have been recently talking to this guy, and we have been going on dates and have been talking about becoming official soon, and I really, really like him. So my issue is that most of the guys I've dated have not lived by me. So I had some serious boyfriends in high school, but they were from a different school, or like usually from the next town over. Or any of the guys I dated in college lived in a different suburb of the city I'm in, or were around an hour away. So most of my dating life has kind of paced itself due to the distance. We'd be better about planning things like once a week, or we'd be texting most of the week and then only see each other once a week. And so I don't want to ruin my excitement about this new guy and about dating him, but I also don't want to like be so excited that I'm rushing into something or that I'm not pacing myself. And so I guess I'm just asking if there's any advice you guys have on not rushing into anything, but still letting yourself be excited about dating and someone new. So thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.
What I'll say is like, it is kind of a canon event that like, even regardless of like your high school or college dating experiences, the first time you really date when you are out of that, like you're in the workforce, you play house way too fast. Like, I think like if you are able to pace yourself, like that's great. But at 22, I was not fucking pacing myself in like beginning of, well, I guess Monson started dating at maybe 22, but like guys I dated like right out of like when I had dropped out of school and like 21, like we were spending every fucking day together, and like it was way too much. And so I think the fact that you are thinking about pacing it is kind of you've achieved half of it has already been achieved. Like that was not even something that was on my radar at that time. But I don't know. I think like if you have a job and he has a job, there are like, that's also a natural pacing in there, and like scheduling things with your friends ahead of time. I would make sure that like, and I think it's kind of good in general to have the person you're like starting to date not be the first person you reach out to make plans with. Have it be your friends, or have like your hobbies and do that. And then you've got these slots to see if he's free to like hang out with, but not prioritizing him as the number one spot if you're not comfortable doing that. And I think that's a good way to preserve your friendships, which is a very hard thing to do when you are dating in your 20s.
Yeah, my kind of thing that I've been going with now is having a work date where it's like me meeting up with somebody I work with just to like network. A me date where I'm taking myself to do something, whether it's like getting a massage or like going out to eat or just something that's like for me. Mm-hmm. A friend date where I go hang out with a friend, and then a date. So I think if you kind of put those parameters, maybe not depending on what in our work field, we have to be continuously networking all the time. Yeah. But if you don't have to do that, then cut that out. But kind of just like putting parameters on yourself to make sure that you're not spending so much time with this person, but you're also maintaining your own friendships and also maintaining your own self-identity. And I think that can help you for now. And then, then it gets to the point where you're like, okay, well, like he's just there when I get off work. Like, and that's not really a date. Like that's just like existing where he's just there. But then like you actually do have dates later in the week.
Yeah. And I also wouldn't beat yourself up about it if like, let yourself get excited. Like, I think like trying to kind of put a damper on that when you want to think logically about it, like dating and like falling in love or falling in love, like there's like zero logic there. Like it is, if you are able to like get through your entire life without having rushing into a relationship and being like, ooh, I fucked up there. Like, I think like honor your true feelings. Don't squash those, because I think that is a much harder habit to get back into, is like trusting your gut and trusting your intuition. That to me is like what you should value above everything else, because once you start to kind of second guess yourself, it's just harder. Like it becomes an internal battle. It's not something that you can like work out with friends or whatever. But I think letting yourself be excited and seeing where that excitement like manifests, and if you're aware of what like love bombing looks like and all of that, then I think you can just like follow your heart, and like you might make some like not the greatest decisions, but that's also okay. And if the pacing doesn't go how you think it should, but there's so many things like we will all break our own dating rules. Like I tell people, I'm like, don't move in together before a year of dating minimum. And like Mats and I moved in together a little like before a year, but like we were friends and like whatever that is. But it's kind of like, trust your gut and go with those feelings, but make sure that you're thinking about your feelings in all aspects. Like Melissa said, like your feelings about friends, like your feelings about work, your feelings about yourself. So like prioritize your feelings, but make sure your feelings aren't entirely just tied to him. So sometimes you need to be reminded and have scheduled time spending solo, spending with friends, to remember that like those people also bring out the version of yourself you like the best. Like those people also, you love those people too. So keeping them at the forefront as well. But this is so exciting. I'm happy for you. This is fun. It's a good time.
Have
a good
fun.
age. Yeah, have fun.
Don't overthink it. Just think about it, but don't overthink it.
And again, playing house with like a 23-year-old gaffer or a server at a restaurant is kind of a canon event. Like it's just like
it's not the end of the world.
No.
Like sometimes you're tired. You just want somebody there.
Yeah. And like it might blow up in your face and like welcome to the club. Like it is what it is. Have fun.
Learn and move on.
Yeah.
Or it could be the greatest thing ever.
Exactly.
Well, we're going to take a break, and when we get back, we'll get into the rest.
Merry Christmas, everybody! My name is Eric Peterson. I'm here with my good buddy,
Danny Jordan.
And we are the hosts of Christmas Countdown Show.
We're so thrilled to be bringing the merriment to you all this holiday season. On Christmas Countdown, we love to count down our top 10 favorite things related to the holiday season. That could be food, movies, music, everything that we all love about this massively merry good time. So wherever you get your podcasts, make sure you click that subscribe button. Eric, are you ready?
I am ready, and we hope that you are too. Merry Christmas, everybody! Let's go!
Hey everyone, join me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, for Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong?
Each week, we deliver 4 fun-filled shows.
In Don't Blame Me, we tackle our listeners' dilemmas with hilariously honest advice.
Then we have But Am I Wrong, which is for the listeners that didn't take our advice. Plus, we share our hot takes on current events.
Then tune in to See You Next Tuesday for our listener poll results from But Am I Wrong?
And finally, wrap up your week with Fisting Friday, where we catch up and talk all things pop culture.
Listen to Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Do you love Disney? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Megan, the Magical Millennial.
And I'm the Dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. There is nothing we don't cover.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed, but you definitely need in your life. So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.
We are back, and let's get into the rest.
Hi, Eminem. I'm calling to get some advice on my current situationship. To get right into it, I'm female 25 and he's 31 male. He and I have been seeing each other for about 6 months now. We first went on a few dates late last year and I broke things off just because I wasn't ready to date. And then we reconnected in January. I definitely had my guard up in the beginning and he was really patient with me. But over the last couple of months, I've really started to catch feelings. I met a few of his family members over Memorial Day weekend, and one of the girlfriends used an opportunity when we were alone to ask me if we were dating, and I told her I didn't know how to answer, even though she definitely saw us holding hands and being affectionate. After I brought it up to him and that we should probably have a conversation about where things are headed, we both admitted that we really liked each other and wanted to continue down the path we were on and see where things went. We had a discussion of being exclusive, but he did clarify he wasn't in a place with his personal life and work where he wanted to put a label on things. His mom passed away a couple of months ago, and he has some major campaigns going on at work, so his hours have been crazy, which I can understand. I told him I understood at the time, and we kind of moved on. Here's my problem. I feel like I need a better understanding of what those boundaries look like and more reassurance just so I really know what to expect. To be honest, I expected the conversation to go a little different, so I pulled back slightly because I was worried I was texting too much or wanted to hang out too much. To clarify, we check in throughout the week and hang out once or twice a week, but we're not constantly texting or hanging out every day. We send each other TikToks most days, but otherwise we aren't talking 24/7. He's on a work retreat and then a work trip for the next week. And then in a couple of weeks, I'm taking a solo trip for 2 weeks in Europe. So communication and hanging out will be very limited for the next month. While it's eating me alive and I want to talk to him about it, I feel like I should wait until I'm back or bring it up after he's back next week. My other issue is that him and his ex, who broke up about 2 years ago, are friends, which I'm fine with, but she viewed my TikTok profile yesterday and I just find it odd. He and I have been following each other on there since last year, and I never post, which tells me I got brought up in conversation in some capacity, so she decided to creep. I can only see their conversation going 2 ways, so it's just adding to my insecurities. I guess I'm asking for advice on what to do and if I should be concerned. I really like him and could see this going somewhere long term, and I'm trying to be patient, but I'm letting my anxiety get the best of me. He is so amazing and really has no red flags. This being so confusing is the only issue. Because I have some extra time, I am a Leo and he's a Virgo. Love you guys so much and thank you in advance for your help.
I think that definitions of phrases and terms are gaining misconstrued here. If you are talking and have never seen this person in person, that is the talking phase. If you are going places with them, meeting family, hanging out, y'all are dating. Now, the thing is, what's the exclusive dating?
Yep. Did you decide that did they decide that they were exclusive, or they just
That's the thing, is they haven't decided. I think that the thing is they're talking about is like, are we dating? But yes, y'all are dating. You are going places together. You are spending time together. You are meeting his friends. That is dating. You just haven't decided if you're exclusively dating or yet. Not. Because that's what the friend asked. Are you two dating? Yes. Yes, you were dating.
Yeah. I mean, I view a situationship as like the same thing as dating. It's not a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's a situationship. It's dating. And so therefore, the same way that like people could be dating multiple people at the same time.
Right. That's non-exclusive. You're still dating. It's still a situationship. You're in a situation where you're spending time together. You're going places. You're meeting each other's friends. You're talking. You're texting. Like, yes, you're dating.
I would like to bring up one red flag that he has, which is...
I can bring up multiple, but continue.
I'm just going to start with the one. But he introducing you to his family and holding hands and bringing you around. That's crazy. Like,
yes.
That is straight up fucking crazy. I say this with so much love. You walked away from this conversation feeling confused because that was the intention. Like, he didn't want to be clear. He wants it. The boundaries are fuzzy. And therefore, it gives him an out. It makes it so you don't feel like if he did something that you didn't feel cool with, that he would be at fault there because those boundaries have not been clearly communicated. And you would look at it as oh, that was, we never established or whatever that is. And it's still going to hurt. So like, to me, I think like this is such immature behavior for a 31-year-old man to be like, I can't put a label on it right now because like there's an expectation there. That's essentially what that means. When someone doesn't want to put a label on it, there's an expectation how someone has to carry themselves. And when we initially think, we go, oh, well, it's because they think like, we don't text as often. Like they think they'll have to do that or we'll have to make time for dates. And we're not thinking enough about it is, oh, the expectation there is we don't sleep with other people. We don't date other people. We don't flirt or hook up with other people. We're monogamous and we're exclusive. And that's a huge fucking part of it. Like when you have been with someone for 6 months and like he's dealing with grief and is comfortable to, and I don't know if he brought you like around his family before or after that, but like if someone is going through grief so deeply, which is so valid, and they are not ready to label a relationship because they don't feel like they can be that right person, they should not be dating. They should be they should not be with that. So like that is not your problem. If he is not comfortable and he's not in a place where he can be that for someone, he doesn't get to just do that without the label because there's no fucking difference there. And like, you understand what he's going through. You're not having these unrealistic expectations for him. And like, I don't want to put something bad in your mind, but like the fact that he's talking to his ex-girlfriend of 2 years who probably knew his mom, like that's who you seek solace in when you are going through grief. It is not, you don't go out and start dating someone new. And so this guy is, I think he's banking on you being younger.
They were dating before she died.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So like you seek out people who have known this person and it just is kind of easier and it's an easy comfort and there's no expectations there. And like, yeah, he's got a lot of stuff going on at work, but like,
you make time for what you want.
Yeah. And like, he is being intentionally misleading with you. And he is banking on you being 25 and not understanding this and like thinking he's like a really great guy. And like, there is this genre of men who say all of the right things and who sound so mature and sound so emotionally intelligent and like don't shy away from conversations, but you walk away from those conversations being like, actually, I don't have, you think that you're, as you're having these conversations about boundaries, like what you are, you're like, oh my God, we're like so on the same page. Like I feel so supported. And you walk away from it going, I don't think we said anything. Like, I don't think anything was established there. And like, that is all very intentional. Like there are some guys who like are very kind, very nice, very sweet guys who have found a way to kind of be at the reins of a relationship and make you feel like you've got a hand on the wheel too, and you don't. And it's kind of like snapping out of it and being like, wait, what? Like he's going on this work trip and doing all of that. Like, how would you feel if he's hooking up with other people? How would you feel if he's dating other people and talking to other people? And like, I do strongly believe at this point, like, when is he gonna, I would ask him, like, at this point, I would be like, final conversation. Like, at what point do you think that you would be ready for this? And like, what is the different, what are you having a hard time letting go of? And what are your expectations?
And what would change about us if we said that we were exclusive? Because again, you are dating. And is he seeing other people? If that's what it is, then he just needs to be upfront with like, I'm seeing other people and I don't want to commit. Because everything else seems like it would be the same thing.
And I'm like not of the camp of like convincing someone to date you or convincing someone to like take a step in a relationship without them propelling that as well, without that being a mutual desire. But like, I think for your sake, you are really invested in this and this has been like 6 months. I think that you need to straight up ask him all of this, and you need to not say that many words, which is I have an issue with. Like sometimes where I will talk and then I will be like, okay, are we good? Or like, or did we figure this out or whatever? And then I'm realizing like, I just talked, like, I don't know where they're at. And so you just need to ask him these straightforward questions. What is the timeline that you foresee? Are you sleeping with other people? What things are you not looking to give up? What things do you think would change about our relationship if we established that? And then ask him all of those things and be like, so I'm interested in us defining and establishing this as a committed monogamous relationship. You be my boyfriend, I be your girlfriend. Yes or no? And then you have to take that for what it is, because this whole thing of being like, well, I'm trying to be patient and all of that kind of stuff. Like that is, if someone wants to date and whether they're on dating apps or they're dating you, then they should be ready to date. They should be ready for that. And like, if that has not been established from the beginning of like, I just want to hook up and it's nothing serious, he either needs to say that or he needs to actually date you in an exclusive way that he's implying or suggesting that he would want in the future. Because you're waiting around, I promise you, you're not going to get what you want and you're going to feel really fucking silly. And you shouldn't feel silly, but like you're going to be very fucking jaded having trusted this man.
Right. Also, why did the friend ask you and not him?
Well, it seemed like it was a girl. Was it a girlfriend or a girl relative?
It's girlfriend. That's weird. Why wouldn't you ask the person that you actually know?
No, it was a few of the family members and one of the girlfriends. So I think it was a girlfriend of the family member.
Either way, you're the new person in the situation. You ask him.
Yeah, I also think that, to me, if I heard that now, I would go, this girl's trying to give me a heads up.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I would have not thought that. And like, I've been this girl before. I've like guys who are older than me who like I go out with and they like introduce me around and like it feels like, oh, I'm just like these other relationships that are there. Like this is solidifying that. And like looking back on interactions I had with like other girlfriends there, I was like, they were trying to let me know that like we were not the same and like I should watch out. And I didn't. And like that's something that I think is, again, one of those like sneaky moves that these nice guys, quote unquote, do, where it feels like he has no red flags. He's so communicative. He's so kind. He's not hiding me. And it's like, yeah, he's not hiding you because he doesn't have to hide anything because there is nothing concrete there between you. And he's making sure that it's like that. So if he does something that would upset you, you don't even feel like you can tell him you're upset because it's not that has been established that he couldn't do that. So yeah, men don't end up in these situations by accident, you know? And I don't think that women end up in these situations on purpose. Like, I think we've got one person who's saying one thing and believing something and all of that. Like, it's an intentional, jumbled, confusing fucking mess.
Right.
But I hope nothing but the best. Like, I hope that you have this conversation. It's everything that you want and it's all great. But you have to have that conversation because there's no patience or waiting that you can have that changes the outcome of that conversation. You ask today, you ask tomorrow, you ask a year from now, a month from now, it's always going to be the same answer. So ask now.
All right, next one. Hey, Queens, I need advice on when to leave a friendship. I am 24, she, her. So freshman year of college, I did the random route for dorm living as most of my friends went to different schools. So I was paired with, let's call her Marissa. We grew to be fast friends and even continued being roommates throughout the years. Even now that we've graduated, we're still close. I wouldn't consider her a best friend, but we still check in often. So recently, within the last year, I've noticed every conversation is revolved around her. She customarily checks in on me at the beginning of the conversation, then goes off about the deep end about herself. Even when I do get a few words in on my personal life, she brings it back to herself. It's exhausting and hella selfish. So she recently got engaged and that's all she has to talk about. I've been in a committed relationship for 3 years and she always throws slick shots. One example, she'll be like, oh yeah, my boyfriend just knew I was the one after 2 years. Don't you wonder why your boyfriend hasn't proposed yet? So with wedding planning comes bridesmaid selection. I'm 99% sure she's going to ask me in a cute little gift or whatever they do nowadays. I feel like I need to cut this shit before then. I know if she gets me a gift and counts me in on the wedding details, I will feel bad and stay in the friendship. With the clock ticking for when the selection happens, I desperately need advice. Thanks for consideration. You're already checked out of this friendship.
As you should be.
Yeah, as you should be. Good
God. Listen, this is Melissa and I's least favorite person, and we've both experienced this person, but then you threw on the wedding aspect, which already pisses us off. Like, This is like next level fucking annoying.
Next time you talk to her, just be like, every time she tries to change the subject to herself, just keep changing it back to yourself and give her a dose of her own medicine if you want to talk to her. if you don't want to talk to her, just say, I'm happy that you found someone else to talk to for the rest of your life. Now you don't have to talk to me.
Goodbye.
That may
See
be
you
a
never.
little right. That may be a little extreme, but just like say, bring it up however you want to bring it up. Like, just, you've already checked out. You're done. You've said, I do not want to be in this broad's wedding, because if I do, then that's going to sign me up for another however long their engagement is.
You're a godmother. Like,
yeah.
God.
Like, you just gotta cut her out.
I mean, you're better than me. The way
I would have already ghosted her.
I was gonna say, the way that this girl would never hear from me again. Like, I don't care if she shows up at my doorstep with a fucking mason jar and a little silk robe with my monogram embroidered on it. I'm not home. I actually moved. And like, we don't follow each other. I unfollow her on social media. Like, I am dead to her. She's looking for me. She cannot find me. Like, the way I would hop off the map so fucking fast. Right. So like, I think if you're this checked out, you don't sound like a ghoster, because you would already done. You already go. That's two people who you would have been so gone. Like, I would have been gone. Cause like, I think that like friendships can go through phases like this, but like, I've had never any desire to ghost a friend who I know that I'm like, this is a season of life and this is a phase and I need to change the parameters of our friendship. Mm-hmm. This is not one of those situations. This friendship just needs to end, because this is not a friendship at this point. Like, you are an unpaid therapist and or you're just a wall for someone to talk to.
Right.
So I would send her a message and just be like, hey, I want to say that this is like a very awkward thing to do, but like, I feel like this is better than ghosting. This is how I would prefer this. I don't expect you to respond to this. That's totally okay. I'm not looking for this to like be a conversation, because I know this is probably like weird to receive, but like, I just feel like we're in totally different directions of our friendship, and we're both looking for different things out of a friendship. And I don't think it's fair to either of us to spend the time and energy on a friendship that's not fulfilling for us. I don't think I can be the friend that you need. And I feel like I really need some other friend. I need a different kind of friendship in my life. And I've enjoyed all of our memories and our things together, but I just felt like it would be really disingenuous if I held on to this until after your wedding. You deserve people up there who are ready, willing, and able to be that friend for you. And that's not me. I wish you nothing but the best. And I know that you will have a beautiful wedding and like a lovely life together. And then I would send it, and then I would block her. Mm-hmm. Or I would just mute her and I would not read what she responds. I would not even see if she responds. Like, I would make it so there's no notifications from her, and I would just put it out of my mind and like move on. Like, because there's nothing really to say after that. And I think if you're looking to see what she says back, that to me tells me that you're like actually not ready for the friendship to end.
Right.
Because it needs to just be, it's not it's just a declaration of, I'm out. Bye, bitch.
Yeah. Also, with those, if you wanted to take it this far, which could be too far, I
want her
think
to get
it's
the
too
bridesmaids
far.
gift first.
But this is an option. Is that with those bridesmaids thing? Now they've kind of turned them into proposals, promposals, like those type of things, where you get the gift and it's like, check yes or no. Check no, and then be done.
So the way that I'm like, girl, wait till you get that, and then just be like, I can't. It's gonna be a no from me. Like, but that's also because I love the mess. That's why we have this podcast.
Yeah, I love talking about the mess, but if I was in this situation, I wouldn't actually.
I would not do it. I would not do it. But also, someone can bring something to your house and you can still ghost them.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. And I promise you, if you want to ghost them, this is me. If I want to ghost someone, that's actually me being kinder, because you don't want to hear what I have to say. I'm censoring myself. And if you insist on us having a conversation, I don't think you're going to like it. Like, this is when the kindest thing I could do is literally ghost you. That's how you know what I'm about to say is not nice.
The fact that this broad said, my boyfriend knew, can't imagine being with somebody that didn't know.
The way
what a bitch.
Yeah. And also the way that they will not be happily married. Like, they will not. That is either not a marriage that's going to survive or not a marriage that will be happy. Like, that is because you don't say that when you are happy in your, like, Mats and I have been dating for so fucking long. And I have a lot of friends who have, again, LA people don't get married young. Like, have a lot of friends who've also been dating their partners for a long ass fucking time. Not once ever when we got engaged was I like, so like, are you guys like gonna get engaged? And I remember they told me, they're like, oh yeah, someone's always asking you when we were getting engaged. And I was like, what? That's so fucking, like, are they unhappy? Like, what's wrong with their relationship? Like, why would they, it's so fucking weird to me. Like, it's so weird to me. Cause again, it's one of those things you don't talk about other people's business, their relationships, their family, whatever, the decisions they make, unless you are not confident in the decision that you are making. And you need to rope other people into what you're doing, or you need to like peacock it to feel like you're making the right choice.
Right.
It's fucking crazy. It's so wildly. What did you say? Like the way I would have been like, excuse me? And also it seems like you've been dating longer. When people who are in relationships for not nearly as long, like, well, we're actually like this. I'm like, oh, you're a fucking idiot. Like, I'm so sorry that you believe everything a man you met 5 minutes ago says to you. That's unfortunate. I don't really want to be around to clean up the pieces. That shit's going to implode.
I will be saying something to you and you're going to die laughing, but okay.
Get off the mic. We gotta go. Well, that is it for our episode. We hope you all enjoy. This was juicy.
This was a juicy episode.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Like, this is how we survive. Like, you know, I was going to say Superman is kryptonite. That's the wrong thing. Kyle XY and his amniotic fluid before he left that little chamber.
Pod.
That's, the pod. That's it's
Superman has the sun, the yellow sun.
Oh, okay.
That's what gives him his powers away from his planet.
The sun? Like our
the
sun?
Yellow sun. Yep, our sun. Like on his
they've got a
planet, he
different
wouldn't.
sun.
Yeah, on his planet, he wouldn't have powers, but on our planet, it's the yellow sun that powers
Superman
him.
lore goes deep. He's old school. Well, we hope you all enjoyed. Again, you could join our Patreon. You can support the show. You can also watch the video versions. And we have other podcasts that we release. We have See You Next Tuesday, which is tomorrow, which is us hanging out, chit-chatting, catching up. And then what do we have on Thursday, Melissa?
Thursday, we have But Am I Wrong, which is when y'all sometimes don't take advice here, or just other situations in your life where you share if you were wrong in a situation. We also give our own things from our own lives and then nominate the worst of the week as well. And then on Friday, we have Fisting Friday, where we take the votes from those things that happen on Thursday and share it with the class.
It's a great time. We encourage you to participate, listen along. We are here for you if you are trying to currently break free from a daily podcast, or you are a recovering Cody Co fan. Like, we're here and we are not predators. Support women. Support women with microphones. The end.
The end. All right. Well, we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Don't Blame Me is a production by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production sound and editing by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Giacomo Picasso and Ryan Hunter.
Welcome to the small town of Chinook, where faith runs deep and secrets run deeper. In this new thriller, religion and crime collide when a gruesome murder rocks the isolated Montana community. Everyone is quick to point their fingers at a drug-addicted teenager, but local deputy Ruth Vogel isn't convinced. She suspects connections to a powerful religious group. Enter federal agent V.B. Lauro, who has been investigating a local church for possible criminal activity. The pair form an unlikely partnership to catch the killer, unearthing secrets that leave Ruth torn between her duty to the law, her religious convictions, and her very own family. But something more sinister than murder is afoot, and someone is watching Ruth. Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
I'm Laura Cathcart-Robbins, and I'm the host and creator of Only One in the Room podcast. Every week, my co-host Scott Slaughter and I invite you to join us for an hour and lose yourself in someone's incredible Only One story. We talk to the realest of real people, dealing with issues like infertility, addiction, human trafficking, and body shaming. Oh, and we want to be fair, so we talk to some celebrities too. Oscar winners, New York Times bestselling authors, supermodels, and even the most decorated U.S. Winter Olympian. Everyone is invited to share their Only One story with our listeners. This podcast is for anyone who has ever felt alone in a room full of people, which is to say that this podcast is for everyone. Download Only One in the Room wherever you listen to podcasts today.